to see if it will recognize what I'm saying in the Russian language. Igra. All right, so it did show properly there. You see Igra there, and also to verify that below, called a game. Now at this time, on your top left, we're going to type in, using those Russian letters, Igra. So we're going to start out with the I. Instead of copying and paste, we're just going to type in the letters from the Russian keyboard to match up with that. So we've got, in this area here, we've got I for the first letter, and Ge. And just remember that Ge sounds like the sound of G as in goat in the English language. The letter R in the Russian, which looks like our letter P in the English. And then we've got an A. And so we're going to copy and paste that onto our English-Russian there. We have a game in the English section. We have the phonic of that with English syllables, with a phonic of the Russian word itself, of what it sounds like, Igra. And then we have the actual spelling in the Russian language of Igra on the very right in the Russian column. Detective Carl speaking. Thank you, Dilla. I'll take the call in the security booth down the hall. Sorry for the interruption, people. Please stick around. This is an important call that just can't wait. I'll be back in just a moment or two, so please just hang tight. Hello, Natasha. This is Detective Carl. What did you find out?
Yes, Detective Carl. I wanted to make sure that your viewers are aware that they can click on the buttons below your video to like, share, and subscribe to this important channel.
Oh yes, of course. I'm sure they are aware as we speak. I do appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule to inform us of this invaluable information. Thank you, Natasha.
Goodbye, Detective.
The second phrase we're going to work on is called a little bit. We see here on this Word document that we do have a bit later, and now we're going to work on a little bit. So what we'll do now is we're going to add that English phrase to our English section of this English-Russian reference guide, and we're going to do it in alphabetical order. So we're going to add a little bit to this left section over here. So you see how I've typed in this phrase over in this left section, a little bit. And what we're going to do now at this time is we're going to go to our RU Translate app, and we are going to speak a little bit in the English language into the English section and see what it shows us reflecting in the Russian section below. To bring the English to the top right here. Then I'm going to click on this microphone up here and see what the word sounds like in Russian for the phrase a little bit. A little bit. Now we do see that the Russian word appears for the phrase a little bit. And oftentimes phrases in Russian can be all one word when they're multiple words in English and vice versa. We're going to click on the speaker in the Russian section at the bottom of the RU app here, and we're going to see how they pronounce that Russian word that's appearing.
Немного.
It sounds like they're saying немного. We'll now go to our English-Russian reference guide, and we're going to type in немного for the phonic of that Russian word. The first part is nim, and then the second syllable is no, and the third syllable is ga. So at this point, we'll go to our RU Translate app in the middle of the screen here, and we're going to switch the Russian to the top. And I'm going to pronounce Nemnoga in this app to see if it recognizes what I'm saying in the Russian language. Nemnoga. So we do see that it recognized the word and is confirmed by the English at the bottom. We're now going to go to our Russian keyboard, shown at the top left of your screen there. We're going to take this word here and we're going to type in the Russian letters into the Russian keyboard, and then we're going to copy and paste that onto our English-Russian reference guide at the bottom left. Let's start with the letter M, which looks like our English letter H, yeah, which looks like our English letter E, and M, which does sound like our English letter M, letter N, which looks like our letter H once again, O, and the letter G, which has the sound of G in our English language, like goat, and we have O. And so we've got that full word on there for Nemnoga. What we'll do now is we're going to copy and paste this word onto our English-Russian reference guide. All right, so you can see how that word appears there in the Russian. Word on the very right, Nemnoga, it also shows the same word up here a bit later. So a little bit and a bit here. Nemnoga means a bit and also means a little bit. It can be used, that same word, in the Russian in multiple instances. Detective Carl speaking.
Hello, Detective. This is your secretary, Della. I have your Russian informant, Natasha, on the line.
Is that so, Della? Put her on hold. I'll take her call in the security booth down the hall. Sorry, people. Once again, this is one of our delays that come up. I'll try to make it short. Just hang tight if you would. I'll be back shortly, I'm sure. Hello, Natasha. This is Detective Carl. Any new discoveries?
Yes, Detective Carl, I wanted to inform your viewers that below your video, they can click on the Views description bar. Once there they also, if this channel is helpful to them, and they wish to offer their support, they can also click on the blue Donations link.
Oh, yes. I'll be sure to relay this information to them. I do appreciate all your efforts in bringing this to light. What would otherwise be left undiscovered for sure. Keep up the good work, Natasha. I'll look forward to our next conversation sometime soon, I'm sure.
Goodbye, Detective.
Going on to our third phrase, a long time. Let me get that typed out on this. You see how we got it here. We put it in alphabetical order, so it'll be easy to find if you ever use this reference tool for your own personal use down the road. Is we're going to find out what a long time actually translates into the Russian language. In order to do that, we're going to go once again back to our RU Translate app. I'm going to say in English on the top section, a long time, and we'll see what it comes up at the bottom in the Russian section for the translation. A long time. So we see that this three-word phrase in English converts to a one-word phrase in Russian, which means the same thing as the English phrase. We'll switch the Russian word to the top, click on the speaker right here to hear what it sounds like in the Russian language.
Долго.
It sounds like they're saying Dolga. As our procedure continues, I'm going to attempt to speak the Russian word dolga into the Russian section and see if it still comes up with the same Russian word as what's on here now, as well as the same English phrase below. Dolga. Alright, so we do see that it does recognize the word that we spoke in Russian as before. Since we kind of isolated what the word sounds like in Russian, we confirmed that it was spoken properly that way. We can now go to our English-Russian reference guide. We'll go to this section here, and we're just going to put in phonic for that Russian word using English syllables. Dolga. And at this point, what we'll do is we'll now go to our Russian keyboard. We'll type in the Russian letters on this keyboard so that we can finish the third section of the Russian word itself of the three categories. Let's go ahead and put in the D, the L, the G, and the O. Again, it's dolga, and we'll notice that this first O sounds like a O, but this last O sounds like a ah, and they call that Russian vowel reduction in their grammar that they teach over there. Alright, so we have the word dolga on a Russian keyboard here, so we're going to copy and paste that onto our English-Russian reference guide. There. With today's episode of the video here, we've added another 3 phrases to our ongoing expansion of our English/Russian reference guide. I do appreciate you all being a part of this with me, and it may seem like a few words at a time, but over time they'll all add up. And if you do them slow and accurately, then you don't have to worry about trending mistakes that you have to correct later. So appreciate you being here with us at the Russian Language Detective Series, and I hope to see you on our next video. So long for now.